are talking The Rental. Now this one is directed by Dave Franco. That name may sound familiar to you. He's actually a fairly well-established actor and himself, and also brother of James Franco. And this one stars Dan Stevens and Alison Brie, who play a couple who go on a kind of a weekend away in this kind of rented cottage with Dan Stevens' brother and his girlfriend, who also works with Dan Stevens in a kind of professional capacity. So the four of them go away on this kind of this weekend getaway, and they rent out this lovely looking house. However, the kind of the caretaker / owner of the house seems a little creepy, seems like he's somewhat kind of racist towards the younger brother's girlfriend, things like this. Maybe a little bit too, you know, getting involved in their business and all of this. And, but then something will happen. Now, I will have to say there is going to be spoilers in this review, because I have to really kind of go into some detail about my thoughts on this. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know any spoilers, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say some stuff here. Okay, so there seems to be a slasher involved, for lack of a better word, who has put cameras all in this house and spying on these folks. And to be honest with you, the movie, the first two acts of the movie are kind of really portrayed as a thriller, whilst the third act is portrayed as an out-and-out horror slasher film. So it's somewhat of a jarring mix. I think the first two acts are good. This movie works best as a thriller. And I have to say, I actually quite enjoyed the performances of our four main characters. I think Dan Stevens actually he has quite a nuanced character. He seems like quite a likeable guy who actually, you know, genuinely likes his kind of co-worker, gets on well with his brother, has a good relationship with his wife. But he also has things that are maybe not quite as quite as savoury here. But he's kind of painted as a kind of quite an interesting character, not completely altruistic, but not a complete asshole either. And I quite like the performances from all of the cast here. I thought they all did pretty good. And when there's an event that happens, I'm going to try, even though I am going to have some spoilers, I'm going to try and be as vague as I can. There's a kind of event that happens which causes a rift within this kind of like this foursome. And this is kind of in the first two acts where we have our kind of thriller, the stakes are raised, so to speak, and that was, it's all pretty good. Decisions have to be made. And then we get to our third act, and this is where I really have some problems, because unfortunately the movie just completely falls off the rails in this third act. So we have, for what essentially is a serial killer slasher. Now, I'm going to warn you again, this is going to be some spoilers here. But it just seems completely random, and we never really know anything about the kind of the slasher, what his motivations are, why he has targeted this particular house, things like this. We're given a kind of a red herring, I suppose. Yeah, but the mistake the movie has here is that the slasher element comes in quite late in the game, and it completely changes the kind of the dynamic of the film. And then we're given next to no information about this kind of like what the actual deal is. So it goes from almost like you're watching a thriller for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then you almost start again watching what appears to be like a slasher short without any kind of the characterization or build up or anything like that. Very kind of shoddily put together, I have to say. Which is a real shame, because the first two acts are very strong. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail in regards to the why I think it's so bad, but suffice it to say, we just, as a viewer, you will just be, what's just happened? Why has that person done this? Who is he? I mean, we never actually see the character's face, but it seems pointless anyway, because you could have done, because it's not as if we're introduced to any other characters, and not showing the slasher's face was a moot point, because it's not as if, it was the gas, the gas system or whatever, the petrol garage assistant, anything like that. We'd never see anyone else anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but just a bit of a shoddily put together movie, which was a real shame because the first two acts are very strong. I think it still warrants a potential watch because of the strength of the acting here, and the setup is very good. But like I say, that third act, it just turned into a very cheesy and very silly and not well narrative structure third act, unfortunately. So 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.